You know that feeling when you don't really fit in, when you do something completely normal, but somehow people look at you like you're strange. Yes, that's kind of what The Stranger is about. It's not a complicated story, but it leaves you thinking about life for days after finishing it. Because it's not just about a man, it's about how disconnected we can feel from the world around us. Albert Camus wrote The Stranger in 1942, during a time when Europe was in chaos. And yet, this small book, written in simple language, became one of the most powerful reflections on human existence. It starts with one of the most famous opening lines ever written. Mother died today. Or maybe yesterday. I don't know. Right from the beginning, you realize it is not going to be a normal story. The main character, Meursault, is different. He doesn't react to things the way we expect him to. When his mother dies, he doesn't cry. He doesn't even seem sad. He goes to the funeral, feels the heat of the sun, the glare, the sweat, but not grief. For him, emotions aren't something you pretend to have just because others expect them. He believes that if something can't be changed, then it doesn't make sense to stress about it. It's not that he's cruel, he's just honest. Maybe too honest for the world he lives in. After the funeral, he goes back to his life as if nothing happened. He swims, eats, spends time with a woman named Mary. To him, life simply goes on. There's another interesting part of the story. Meursault befriends his neighbor, Raymond. Raymond is not a good person. He's violent, jealous, and selfish. At that point, he asks Meursault to help him write a cruel letter to his mistress. And Meursault agrees. Not because he cares or believes in what Raymond is doing, but because in his mind, there's no reason not to. He doesn't see the point in saying no. That's how Meursault is. He doesn't act out of passion or principle. He acts because something is happening, and he's part of it. And maybe that's what makes him so unsettling to others. He doesn't pretend that life has meaning when he doesn't feel it. Then comes the turning point, the moment on the beach. It's hot, the sunlight is blinding, and the air feels heavy. Meursault runs into a man, the brother of Raymond's mistress, an Arab man. He's not angry, not thinking of revenge. He's just overwhelmed by the heat, the light, and the absurd stillness of the moment. And then he shoots him, almost without thinking. Later in court, Meursault isn't really judged for the murder itself. He's judged for who he is, for not crying at his mother's funeral, for not showing remorse, for being indifferent. The trial becomes less about justice and more about emotion, about whether Meursault fits society's idea of what a normal person should feel. And that's what condemns him in the end. This is where Camus' philosophy comes in, the idea of the absurd. Camus believed that life has no clear meaning, and yet we keep searching for one anyway. We want order, justice, logic, but the universe doesn't really care. That gap between what we want and what is, that's what Camus calls the absurd. And Meursault is the perfect symbol of that. He doesn't lie to himself. He doesn't pretend to feel things he doesn't. He accepts that life just is, and maybe that honestly make him dangerous, or maybe free. At the end of the book, when Meursault refuses to pray with the priest before his execution, he finally feels something, a kind of peace. He realizes that life and death are the same. They both belong to the same indifferent universe. And that acceptance, that calm, is strangely powerful. Camus isn't telling us to stop caring. He's just asking us to look at life without illusions, to accept that we can't control everything. And maybe that's where freedom starts. The Stranger isn't really about crime or guilt. It's about honesty, the kind that makes people uncomfortable. It's about a man who refuses to fake feelings just to fit in. And it leaves you wondering, what if being true to yourself means being a stranger to anyone else?